Hello, I am Professor Kino and welcome to my Office of Cinematic Antiquity. Today we will be talking about... We are finally here, the 22nd film in the conclusion of the first era of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's been 11 years and 22 films in the making, and while this is not the end of the MCU, it is a definitive chapter that will separate what this saga has been and what it will be. So, was all the time we've invested into this franchise worth it? Did it pay off? Did the MCU stick the landing? Premise. Now that half of all life in the universe has been snapped out of existence by Thanos, what remains of the Avengers, Earth's mightiest heroes, come together to try and fix what happened. Writing. I'm going to have to be vague here, like the trailers for this movie. This is a film that needs to be experienced fresh because it is packed with so many surprises and wow moments that I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But what I will say is this, for anyone who is even remotely invested in this franchise, Endgame is the perfect conclusion to the 22 films that encompass it so far. Screenwriters Stephen McFeely and Christopher Marcus worked magic into every page of their script. Every tiny plot element, every line, every scene is a necessary one, and a wonderful one. Yes, I'm sure you could easily pick out some plot holes here and there, but to me, that's irrelevant. How this film implements everything that the MCU is and was and will be is simply astounding. It is the magnum opus of the whole series so far, the absolute finale of this chapter of Marvel Cinematic history. It's what everything in the MCU has always been building towards since the first Iron Man film in 2008, and while some plot elements are predictable, so much is also mind-blowing and unpredictable. The whole film just hits you continuously, and it can get overwhelming, but by the end it all culminates into the most explosive, emotional, satisfying, amazing finale of any Marvel film ever made. It is just a spectacular achievement, and a lot of that is because of the creativity, intelligence, and pure brilliance of the screenplay. Acting. Just saying who appears or doesn't in this film is a spoiler, so I'm just going to say that everyone here outdoes themselves. They are all asked to do so much more than they've ever had to in previous films, and they all do marvelous jobs. Yes, just like in Infinity War, some people get more screen time than others, but everyone gets a moment, and with a roster this huge, that's a remarkable feat. Costumes, hair, and makeup. Everyone looks great here. All their costumes are the most advanced and badass that they've ever been, and the same goes for everyone's hair and makeup. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. Set design. Again, spoilers, but to be honest, the sets themselves were nothing too spectacular or new visually. It is more what happens in them that matters than what the sets are themselves. They were great, don't get me wrong, but nothing wholly new. Choreography. The action here is some of the best comic book action ever put onto celluloid. It is like stuff straight off the page. It's flooring, creative, mesmerizing, and spectacular. It rivals, if not overpasses, the brilliance of the major action sequences in Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. Cinematography. There are so many moments in this film where I was like, I need to capture that moment and make it a wallpaper for my computer. This film is insanely gorgeous and so full of holy crap comic book moments that I need to see it again just so I can believe what I saw the first time. Goddamn fabulous is what it is. Editing. There is a lot going on here, and the way that the film is spliced together keeps it all clear and cohesive. Editing often doesn't get enough credit for what it does for a film, but there needs to be some recognition here for its brilliance. The fact that it binds the film's plethora of stories together in such a wonderful, comprehensible, and creative way is just something to behold. CGI. Most of you have probably seen Infinity War by now, and Endgame CGI is more of the same. There are multiple fully CGI characters here who are fully believable, huge alien planets, futuristic cities, magical powers, and everything in between, and it's all fantastic. Need I say more? Music. The music here is what it needed to be. While a lot of the new additions to the main soundtrack aren't anything wholly new sound-wise, the way that the soundtrack uses them, old themes, remixed themes, and classic MCU-style songs just makes the whole thing feel even more like the celebration of the whole MCU saga that it is. I loved it. It did everything it needed to and then some. And as for the licensed songs, they weren't as memorable as songs used in other films, and to be honest, my anticipation for what was happening on screen drowned them out more or less, but they definitely worked here.
On my supersonic rocket ship, nobody has to be helped, nobody needs to be out of sight. Oh, out of sight, man. Please don't be sad if it was a straight line you had. We wouldn't have known you all these years. Neighbor, don't you know we're leaving early in the morning? So long, I don't know, we might be back next year. Neighbor, it just might be never. Don't you worry about it, so long.
Direction. I'm a little sad to know that Anthony and Joseph Russo won't be, at least supposedly, directing any more Marvel films. I mean, the four that they have done, The Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and now Endgame, have been huge narrative and thematic stepping stones for the MCU as a whole. And seeing the two directors grow in confidence and skill up to this point has been a real treat. They have directed 4 of the best Marvel films in the entire saga, and Endgame is, I think, their best work to date. It's glorious, and I will miss the Russo brothers' stamp on the franchise's future. My enjoyment. This was a surreal movie-going experience for me, but not only because I adored the film. A lot of it had to do with where I saw the film and the audience I saw it with. As for the theater itself, I swear one of the screen's speakers was slightly broken, so quiet moments were really quiet and could at times be drowned out by the loud-ass AC fans. It wasn't enough to make me confused as to what was going on, but enough to be a little annoying. And then, as for the audience members, one girl a few seats to my left disappeared right when the preview started and came back massively high, and she just didn't stop laughing like a maniacal hyena at everything. It was like her only emotional response was to laugh. And this was during comedic scenes and emotional scenes. It was freaking weird. And then a group of young bozos a few seats to my right just couldn't sit still and just kind of writhed around at pivotal moments and just kept whipping their bodies to each other at random moments to talk with each other. I don't think anything was wrong with them, they were just dumbasses, and it became obnoxious. Like, you can react, but damn son, take a Xanax or something. And then, like 60 times throughout the film, during massive and tiny moments, people got up to go to the bathroom or something, and it wasn't like all at the same time. It was like one, then another, each seemingly waiting for the first to get back, like it was elementary school or something, and people had to take turns or whatnot, and it was just like, huh?
Are you serious?
But despite all this insanity, I still loved the film. It mesmerized me, and by the end, I was an emotional wreck. Tears just started flowing uncontrollably, and I almost felt an audible wail escape from deep within me. I didn't, but damn. This was one of the most emotional experiences I've ever had with a movie. I was 13 when I saw the first Iron Man film in theater, and now I'm here. The whole journey was worth it 100%, and I've now said goodbye to this era, but I am so on board and beyond excited to see what happens next. Recommendations. Let's be real, most everyone is going to see this movie, but for those who are still on the fence, I'll give you some recommendations. If you have been invested in the MCU at some point and liked it, this film is fully for you. It is important to have seen all of the other films leading up to this one, but if you really don't have the time, then at least see Infinity War if that's the one you haven't. However, if you haven't seen any film in the MCU, then I doubt Endgame will do much for you, but this is also the prime time to start watching the entire saga. So pop in the first Iron Man if you want to watch the films in the order they released, or maybe the first Captain America if you want to watch the films chronologically, and get going. And if you are in this position to finally see all these films, I envy you, because you get to experience the majesty of this entire cinematic event for the first wonderful time, and it's going to be amazing. Thanks for watching, I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like. If you want to add anything, feel free to leave a comment. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I am Professor Kino, and I look forward to our next discussion.